Dark Assassins, Dark Assassin here to teach you the ins and outs, tips and tricks, how-tos, and tutorials of the dark arts of stealth, and today I am going to... Unfortunately, I'm not Noroku, so I can't steal Naked Zombo's thumbnails or video ideas for my own gain. Anyways, I do actually have something cool to show you guys, but I want to throw a little PS here. Noroku, if you see this video, please keep your grubby little hands off my Nycta Tyrannus, and if you do use it for a thumbnail, make sure you credit my damn artists. I'd also appreciate if you stopped cropping out parts of my thumbnails, because I actually pay to have these things made by a professional artist. Thank you. Now that that's off the table, I hope you guys are ready to see some super awesome exclusive gameplay of a game that's going to kill ARK. This time, ARK is dead. I swear ARK is going to die this time, and I'm the one with the inside scoop. I own the copyright to it, and I am going to blow your mind. Get ready, guys. ARK is about to be killed by this one specific, amazingly overpowered, super awesome creature. You guys like that? That was my Thick Freedom impression. Okay, guys, so anyways, let's get into this amazing, huge patch for ARK that's going to change the game forever and adds a whole load of things, okay? Before we get started, though, I want to thank you guys so much. We just passed 100,000 subscribers, and it means so much to me that you guys are subscribing to the channel and, like, you're subscribing to the channel. Please leave a like on this video, ... If you like it, it really helps the channel, and I will give you a firm handshake if you subscribe and like the video. Okay, guys, so let's stretch this video out for 10 minutes and try to get the extra ad revenue from the 10-minute long video. I'm gonna read down through these patch notes now to you for 10 solid minutes, repeating as much as I can to ensure I hit the 10-minute mark. Sorry about that, guys. Somehow the quality just dropped by like 1,000%, and I realized I had to stop because I was basically copying Loaded Crisis at that point. On a serious note, have you guys noticed there are more arrows in Loaded's thumbnails than there are hypothetical genders? Is that just me? Loaded, calm down on those arrows, man. You're making them... They're working for those views, I can tell you that much. Damn, there's so many. Just gonna throw in here, too, if you're gonna use my Nycta for thumbnails, make sure you credit the artists. Guys, welcome back to ARK. I know... I am so sorry if I came off as a super condescending prick for the intro of this video. However, I have good reason. I'm tired of select people being douchey and... I guess unfavorable with the way they create their content. And I know I'm no saint either, but at least I don't go to the extents that some of these people have gone to make a living, I guess. Anyways, I do have some information for you when it comes to ARK and ARK Extinction in general, and what's happening with the game in general right now. Because we don't really know the direction. That's it. Like, we were left on a cliffhanger, you know? The cliffhanger is, I'm coming for you, but who the hell's coming for us? Well, we actually have already figured out that it's most likely going to be Rockwell that comes back to Earth and tries to handle us in a less than favorable way. Though, lucky for us, we will have the technology and the power to defeat him if we play our cards right. Granted, he does come back for another quote-unquote DLC. Now, I say that because the ARK devs have explicitly said the Extinction DLC was the final DLC. Well, one of my friends actually went ahead, did some digging, and they uncovered a couple things, but nothing's really set in stone just yet. This is also a bit of a gray area because I'm not sure how accurate this is, but apparently, because of Steam's laws, and the fact that ARK is still technically a early game or something like that, they are not able to produce more DLC content. It doesn't really make sense in my mind, so take that statement with a grain of salt. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see why they can't release as many DLCs as they want, but I guess there could be something somewhere, and maybe there's something to support this more. However, I was unable to find that. So if we can't have a new DLC, what exactly are we looking at? Well, most likely we're going to be looking at ARK 2. And most likely in that case, ARK 2 is going to repeat the history of a new war against the start. You see, the saying was something along the lines of the beginning is the end is the beginning, you know, so on and so forth. And they really tied in the story well. At least I feel they tied in the story incredibly well. When it came to how the ARKs came back, you know, and everything was all hunky-dory. We saved the world, kind of, and You know, now Rockwell's gonna run mischief and stuff like that. You get the idea, though. The general idea is there. But what if the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning? What if that means something else? What if this is just one giant facade for the moment, so we believe we've actually fulfilled that? What if instead there's going to be a second war? Quoting Santiago on one of his notes, he believed that there was actually a war between humans that started the overrun of element and how it became overly abundant and started, I guess, getting to levels that were dangerous for consumption, more or less. What if they mean, instead of the arcs coming back being the start, they mean the war is going to be the start and the end? This whole situation started with a war. At least they believe it started with a war. And going off of that, a war should end it. Starting another war, at least. And this war being with Rockwell. There's a lot of information to support that right now. However, at the same time, we have been wrong in the past, so there's no real guarantee, unfortunately. The start of this all would have been ARK Park, and assuming ARK Park is canon with ARK's lore and how things work, well then, that would make sense. In ARK Park, the technology was different, and there were different planets that were already destroyed. In ARK Park as well, I remember there was already a destroyed planet, which I assume was the moon or Earth's moon, and you could also see some of Earth already destroyed. However, that's basically the extent of it, and we were on, I guess, our own little arcs in space, or a space station. And I'm not sure how it fits into the lore because we're missing so many gaps, you know, for the past history of the game and the present and future. Though I am sure in the future there will be some clearing up to do with this stuff anyways. There are some notes about ARK Survival of the Fittest, however I don't know much about Survival of the Fittest, so I'm going to skip over that. You are free to read some of this if you want though, and then we move into ARK Survival Evolved. Now this is where we are at. From the beginning to the end, after the tests, you find out more about the lore and why Wildcard has been so quiet about this. You see, the theory is that Wildcard was unsure where to go and how to add the lore. The first pages are still active, but not canon, which mean the first Explorer notes that they had decided to release with the game. And in fact, if you do find those Explorer notes, I can't anymore, but the images are actually completely blurred out, basically, or shaded out, more or less. You can't really see the people in them. And then later on, they removed those pages entirely, and they gave us the lore that they want us to read and follow. Also, take into consideration, Wildcard was sued for $40 million. Now, what exactly does a lawsuit have with the direction of the game and where things are going? Well, here's what's happening, and here's actually how the lawsuit started. So from what I understand, a company called Trendy claimed that one of its former employees, a designer, Jeremy Stiglitz, had breached a non-compete contract or something like that, where they had been working in secret on ARK Survival Evolved. Jeremy also repeatedly attempt to poach Trendy's employees to help start Studio Wildcard. I don't have any proof or anything to prove that this is a thing, and I know it's old news, and honestly, Jeremy, you made a pretty good game, and I would argue you did a good thing. You did Gamers a service, if anything, so you paid the price, but I mean, we got something we love. Whether or not you're actually guilty of anything that they claim or articles are saying, I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. You made something pretty good, and I think we're all grateful that you followed your gut and your heart and did what you wanted to do, regardless of legal backlash. Anyways, Trendy was suing for $600 million. ARK settled for $40 million and gave them $40 million US, which is very unfortunate given if ARK was actually innocent to any wrongdoing. But the problem was Trendy had filed for an injunction, and that would have meant, you know, ARK was coming off of Steam. They had to pause development. They had to stop everything and freeze time in that moment for everything happening if Trendy had won the injunction. So they decided to pay rather than risk anything happening like that. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does the lawsuit have to do with this? Just get to it already. Well, the lawsuit actually happened in the same year that Scorched Earth was being released. This is most likely what caused us to not get the Ascension or any of the ending lore when it came to Scorched Earth and how things unfolded for us to go to the next expansion. You see, Wildcard lost out on $40 million. That's a lot of revenue. So they may have had to cut corners to pay, well, I guess make a payoff at the end of the day for the expansion. So I think they recouped some of the losses pretty well, and maybe even recouped all of the losses, hopefully. But regardless, we missed out on a lot of the piecing lore because of this lawsuit. At least that's what we believe. So where does this all lead? Well, this all leads to ARK 2 being an actual thing, or maybe a DLC if the Steam law thing is wrong. I don't know much about Steam games and releasing games on Steam, guys, just so you know. So that's that. Anyways, you know, hypothetically thinking it's going towards ARK 2, well, basically what's going to happen is it's going to tell the story of us, the survivors that started out on the ARKs. And we're going to be going to war against Rockwell, or quote-unquote King Rockwell, whatever. I actually believe in some cases Rockwell he wanted to be a god, or he said he would be a god, something like that. However, the way he's described right now in this document is that he was a Joker card, a boss stuck on Aberration. However, there's other cards that are on the playing field as well than Rockwell. Number one, Helena's body is different. Unlike others, thanks to Santiago's notes, we get to figure out more. Helena's nervous system is one of the bigger parts. If you played on Aberration, you noticed there were many earthquakes. Annoying as it was, this is where the part comes to extinction. The meteors that send down to the wastelands are filled with element and creatures, which are Reaper Kings and Rock Drakes. They are corrupted. Now, how do we know that that's even a thing? Well, we do know from the lore that in Aberration, Reapers are only found there because of mutation. That's it. They're only found on that Ark. They are created by ARK system. Not a system on Earth. They are created in Aberration through a issue with their stuff. I don't know. It makes some weird mutation stuff. It's not a natural mutation that happens. So it doesn't actually naturally happen in nature, basically. That's what happens. The Reapers just don't exist on Earth. The only way they would really get there is if they survive the meteor impact going down to Earth. And I mean, they're fairly armored creatures too, so if they land in water, I would assume they would have a pretty good chance to survive an impact. Worst case, their DNA is spread across the Earth as well. Now, this is the part where it shows Earth systems are down and it cannot defend from attacks. However, the system isn't fully down, thanks to the two creatures which are defensive units and defensive enforcers. You can see the defense units from the first end boss of the island. The last thing that points towards some of the story is, I guess, Diana's log 30. The last thing that we have to look at or question that probably will remain unanswered, unfortunately, guys, is the fact that there is a creature with an X-shaped scar on its chest. None of the Titans that we know of, even the King Titan in all forms, have an X-shaped scar. That's increasingly weird because you would think a mech doing that kind of damage, well, I mean, that wouldn't heal over the course of a couple of years even, unless this guy has some crazy regenerative properties, but nothing really points towards that in anything at all, really. So, regardless, it would still be there. It's a freaking scar. The only person that really would have a X-shaped scar, something resembling a scar on his chest, would be Rockwell again. So, oh boy, it gets, I don't understand how it could be, like, for me, I feel like it's just a graphical bug. They forgot to include the guy's scar on his chest, or maybe something happens in lore and he heals it, because it doesn't make sense for Rockwell to already be on Earth if Aberration hasn't landed on Earth just yet. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and that's unfortunately how it's going to be for a while. Now, one thing I also question is the one who waits, and it's kind of strange to me. Now, a lot of you were also asking me about the one who waits logs right here. I believe we only made it to number 15, I think so, or was it 18? I don't remember exactly. It was number 15 that we left off on right here, actually. This one showing some monster taking over the city, which we believe this monster is now the King Titan, obviously. So we would actually start off on number 16. And number 16 would show a little bit more into the story, so on and so forth. I will touch base on the One Who Waits Explorer notes as well. Maybe this will shed some more light on exactly what's happening in Extinction right now, because the ending isn't the ending. There's something else that has to come after ARK. Now, I don't believe they're going to work on Atlas, which is the ship game, whatever. I honestly feel like that game was kind of spurred by the success of Sea of Thieves. That it just popped out of nowhere. It's good marketing, in my opinion. You know, it's good marketing on Wildcard's part, but the hype of Sea of Thieves is dead now. You know, I don't really anticipate them moving through with Atlas at this point, or it being a focus, to be honest with you. Along with Primal Survival or whatever it is, the play as Dino stuff, basically. Regardless, take home today from this video that most likely it's going to be ARK 2 that they work on. The lawsuit may have been what caused some issues with the lore of the game being released and certain features and ascensions being left out of the game as well, unfortunately, which kind of sucks because we all wanted to see the Scorched Earth Ascension, but it just isn't happening, I guess, for a little while. Regardless, everything seems to point towards ARK 2, and, well, the devs themselves have said that they wanted to work on a sequel to ARK, and hopefully they do it, but they do it with a better framework, because I don't really like the framework they have right now, the engine that they use for ARK, with how bad the AI is and stuff. I honestly feel like ARK would be 10 times better if their AI was better and more intelligent, if they had better interacting AI, to be honest with you, with the dinosaurs. Because if I walk around with one of the 3 raptors, you guarantee I'm only coming back with 1, because the other 2 are going to get lost somehow. Anyways, guys, that is it for now on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. What do you think is going to happen to ARK? Are we going to get ARK 2? Is ARK going to have a new DLC possibly? I don't know at this point. I have to read down through some more of these notes and see exactly what direction the storyline is going to be going. However, we did confirm one thing, and we've confirmed it multiple times, that most likely Aberration is going to come back down, and they have another cash camel to ride because, well, everyone likes ARK DLCs. It's one of the most anticipated games of 20 every year, basically. All right, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'm so happy we passed 100,000 subscribers. Oh, my God, thank you. I love you all. All right. I'll see you in the next video.